Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and iOS 14 Beta 3 has been out for a couple of days, and in the first video, right after it came out, I normally do a video, and I covered all of the major changes, but since then, there has been a lot of other changes discovered by not only myself, but some of you that mentioned it in Twitter or sent me a message, and in future videos, I'll highlight who sent them to me, so I appreciate everyone sending them in, but there's some new features I wanted to share with you. Now, look for the normal follow-up tomorrow, or it could already be out by the time you're watching this, but I normally release follow-ups of the betas or regular versions on Sunday so that you can see how it is for you and whether or not you should actually install it. Now, let's take a look at the features I never mentioned in the first video that have been discovered since. And so the first thing has to do with widgets. So if we slide over here, you'll see that I have the tips widget, and this wasn't working previously for quite a few people, so it may not have even shown up, or it may not work. Now it's working. I already talked about the music widget. I know some people are having a bug where the weather widget isn't showing up. It's working fine for me, but there is an additional update to one of the widgets. So if we press and hold, add a widget, and then we go to the Smart Stack. Under Smart Stack, we now have a larger size. So compared to iOS 14 Beta 2 that I have running on my iPhone XR, let's take a look. You'll see we only have two options. So right now there's only two options, and as of now on Beta 3, we have three options. So it's nice that they've added that. Now on older phones, Apple has updated back tap. Now, older phones really means just one more phone. So the setting that allows you to tap the back of the phone to actually create an action on your phone, such as turn on the flashlight, is on all of the phones with Face ID. So if we go to accessibility and then you go to touch, scroll down, you now have back tap. Now, many of us know about this feature, but it was added to iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. Unfortunately, it does not yet seem to be on older phones. This is an iPhone 7 in jet black. It's a nice version that they released that's not glass. It's aluminum, but it's a very shiny back covering or anodization. So if we go into settings, we'll go to accessibility, go to touch, and scroll down, you'll see that it's not there. So maybe they'll add it in future versions. Maybe not. It's hard to say, but if you have an 8 or 8 Plus, you should now have that option. Now, there's a couple new features to music that I didn't mention in the first video. One of them I actually had written down and forgot to mention, but if we go into music, and you'll see this is just a song I had playing. We tap on the three dots here, tap on share. Then we scroll over in our apps, we actually have the option to share with Snapchat now. So we can share with a Snapchat story, it will create a story, and then allow us to open it in Snapchat and share it. So you'll have that option to do that now if you want to. So it's a nice little update. It's not a huge deal, but it is something new. Now, a nice little Easter egg or additional hidden feature is tapping on search twice. So if you tap on search, it brings up your search dialog. Tap on it again, though, it will bring up your keyboard and allow you to type. This previously did not work. So on Beta 2, if you did the same thing, we can keep tapping search. It doesn't do anything. So on Beta 3, it will just bring up search. It's a nice little hidden feature or way to get into that, which is really nice. And then one other thing is when you're playing a song, so maybe we'll go back to this one, we'll go back to this song, and you'll see I'm halfway through the song or a little bit more than that. If I close the app and then go back into it, it resumes where I left off. This feature wasn't there previously. It's nice to have this, and I'm glad that they've brought this over. So it's really nice to see it. Now, there's a feature that they've actually removed from the iPad. I talked about one that they've removed as far as the weather widget, but they've removed low power mode using Siri. So we can do that and try it out here. Turn on low power mode. And you'll see it says low power mode isn't available on this iPad. Now, previously it was. I don't know that you really need low power mode, but it's a nice feature to have. You don't really need it on an iPad per se, since you're usually near, say, an outlet, you can just plug it in, but it's nice if you need to preserve battery and you were doing something important on the go. So I'd like to see them bring that back. Now, many people were saying they're seeing 4K YouTube videos on their device with this update. Now, I'm not seeing that. Every one of my videos is actually in 4K. So if I play one of my videos here, we'll just play this one, and you'll see that I don't have the option yet. Some people are seeing that option, but every one of my videos for the past few years has been in 4K. I've tried other people's channels as well. I only see it with HDR videos at this time on this device, but people are even seeing it on the XR. So hopefully you're seeing that, although really 1080p is about as good as you really should be watching on a screen of this size. I would love to see 4K or at least 1440p on the iPad. I'm not seeing that yet, but it is capable of that. Now within iOS 14 Beta 3, there's apparently some graphics or images that are confirming the 5.4-inch iPhone 12. Now I've shown you the mock-up or the prototype of it that's non-working to give you an idea of size, but apparently we will have a 5.4-inch iPhone 12. So based on the images and the graphics within the beta, it seems like this is confirmed. Images have been resized to fit a screen of this size. So it'd be really nice to see that. I know a lot of people want a smaller phone, so this would be nice to sort of replace the new SE once it comes out. Now within Apple News, some people are seeing a splash screen for the new audio stories. So if we go into News, you'll see that it pops up. We'll wait for it to load. It will take just a moment here on the SE. And you'll see it says News Plus, hundreds of magazines, and this is sort of one we've seen before. And down here we have News Plus and following. But what's interesting, I'm not seeing anything about the audio stories that they announced or launched with iOS 13.6. So I don't see any of that in here, but apparently some people are seeing that splash screen. I'm not seeing it at all. In fact, I don't even have an audio section on my news in any of these devices. Maybe it will only show up now if you have Apple News Plus, but right now, since I don't, maybe that's why it's not showing up. It's not on this device either. So you'll see I have no option for audio on my 11 Pro Max either. Now there's a feature I can't really show you because I don't have Verizon, but if you have Verizon and you go into settings, then you go down to where your phone is. Under phone, you'll see down at the bottom, you have silence unknown callers, blocked contacts. If you have Verizon as your carrier, you'll actually have a different area here that says call blocking and identification. If you go into that, it will say silence junk callers. This appears to only be on Verizon though. I have T-Mobile on this phone and I've tried other phones. I don't see it unless you have Verizon, and I've seen articles saying the same thing. So if you don't have Verizon and you're seeing that, let me know in the comments below. Now within podcasts, they've actually removed a couple of options, which is kind of interesting. So if we slide over here and go to our notifications within the podcast app and scroll down to the bottom, they've actually removed a couple of options. They've removed recommendations and new features. Why they've done this, I'm not sure. Maybe they're going to put it somewhere else. But if we take a look at Beta 2 here on the left, go into notifications, scroll down, you'll see that we have them. So we have recommendations and new features for notifications. They've eliminated them from Beta 3. Maybe they'll put them back in a future version. Now, if we go into photos, there's a slight change to the photos when you press and hold on them. If you press and hold on a photo, this is the photo I took for the thumbnail of this video, there's a new select option, but it doesn't really do anything. So you can select with the button in the upper right, of course, and just tap on multiple pictures here, but you can't really press and hold and hit select. So maybe that's the future way of doing this. I'm not sure, but it's not there in previous versions. So it's kind of odd that they've added that, but we'll see what that has to do with maybe in Beta 4. Now also, there's other new icons all throughout, so there's slight changes on different things. Now Apple changes the icons throughout the beta process, so there will be changes for probably the next month or so while they refine things. So this time we got the new music icon. Before we had the old one. Then we may see something different. And one thing they've changed is an animation in shortcuts. So let's go into shortcuts. Now, if we go to the Shazam option under starter shortcuts, we'll press and hold on it. It says Shazam would like to access your microphone. We'll say OK, and you'll see that the animation is a little bit different now. And if we let this continue and it doesn't find anything, it will let us know that it doesn't find anything with a new notification. So it says at the top, I don't recognize this song. Before, it would just give you a little pop-up box in the middle. So that's something a little bit new. Now, again, this could change before it's finally released. So we'll look and see if they do that. But right now, it's what it will be, at least as far as we know, with this version going forward. Now, iOS 14 Beta 3 has a few other changes to icons and things. But in Beta 2, there's a couple things I wanted to mention that carried over to Beta 3 that I didn't cover and I didn't see others cover as well. So I thought I'd share them with you. So the first one is if we go to Settings and then we go to Privacy. Under Privacy, we have Location Services and Tracking, and we've seen this before. Go to Location Services, scroll all the way down to system services, and you have exposure notifications. This is on by default now. So if it's something you care about, you can turn it off or you can leave it on. It's up to you, but it's on by default. And before with 13.6, it was off by default. So they've changed this, and I just wanted to let you know if you wanted to leave that off or whatever you wanted to do with it. Also, in here, there's a new feature for your SIM card, which I think is really helpful. So if we go to General, under our settings, and then About, if we scroll down to the Wi-Fi section, you'll see it says Carrier Lock now. Carrier Lock lets us know if our phone is locked to a specific carrier. So right now, my phone is not locked. I have an unlocked iPhone, and if your phone is unlocked, it will say no SIM restrictions. If it's locked, it will say locked to T-Mobile or something along those lines, or locked to AT&T, for example. So depending on who your carrier is, you should see that there. So it's a nice little way to know that the phone is locked, or if you unlocked it, that it has been unlocked. Now that is all of the different changes that I didn't mention in the first video. Of course, there's small changes throughout, and some people are very concerned that they removed 3D Touch. However, that's a known issue. That means Apple's going to bring it back. So what they've said is they've removed 3D Touch from 3D Touch devices temporarily, that it's disabled. So they didn't purposely remove it. Maybe there's some bug there. You can use haptic touch. That usually means they'll bring it back. So I wouldn't get too upset about that. That just means that it's a known issue. They've listed it specifically to let you know. So you can use haptic touch still on, say, an iPhone 6S or 7, for example, and it will work. But just keep in mind that hopefully they'll bring that back. And if they do, I'll let you know in a future video. And that's it for this particular update. If you've found anything else significant, let me know in the comments below. And also, if you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already, though, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.